In this video, I'll show you 3 steps that will save your BMW engine from slowly dying. If you want to take care of your car in the best possible way, spending only a small amount of time and without wasting money, watch this video and give your car the best gift possible. I guarantee you'll notice a big difference in its performance and durability. This video is divided into 3 stages that must be done exactly in the order shown, allowing you to clean the entire intake system from stubborn soot, flush the entire oil system to relieve the engine and turbocharger, and significantly improve engine lubrication. Let's get to work. Step 1. A very important stage. Non-invasive cleaning of the intake system using a specialized cleaner. I'll tell you what's crucial and what you should absolutely never do, so listen carefully. Thanks to this, in just 15 minutes, we'll clean out all the accumulated grime without disassembling the engine. This procedure can significantly extend your engine's lifespan, improve fuel efficiency, and even bring back a few lost horsepower, especially in diesel engines. For comparison, I dismantled part of the intake system so you can see the before and after results right on the screen. Quite a difference, right? Alright, without further talk, let's get to work. In this episode, I'll be working on the 3-litre engine of my BMW E61, where I'll use a liqui moly intake system cleaner to carry out the entire procedure of removing carbon deposits that have built up over the years. One very important note, this process should ideally be done before an oil change. Why? Because once all that residue breaks loose and gets burned off by the engine, a significant amount of it will mix into the oil, making it highly unsafe to continue driving without replacing the oil afterward. As for the cleaning agent, I personally use this particular brand, and this is not a sponsored promotion. I've simply used it before and was satisfied with the results. However, there are many other high-quality alternatives available, so I'll leave the final choice of product up to you. We'll be applying the cleaner in the simplest possible way, directly between the intake pipe and the throttle body. First, I remove the engine cover. For this, you'll need a size 5 hex bit, although in some engine versions, Torx 25 or 30 screws were used instead. The screw locations are highlighted on the screen. I set the cover aside in a safe place and start the engine to let it warm up to operating temperature. After a few minutes, once the engine reaches full temperature, we can begin. If during warm-up your engine struggles to maintain steady RPM, it's very likely that the EGR valve is heavily clogged and not functioning correctly. This cleaning process should solve that problem. Once the engine is fully warmed up, I move to the front, release the clip on the intake pipe connection to the throttle body. This is the part highlighted on the screen, and shift the pipe slightly to the side to create enough space for inserting the hose that comes with the liqui moly can. I open the cleaner, attach the hose, and check that everything works properly. Looks like it's all good. Before we start the spray, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and a comment under this video, and in return, I'll record more episodes about servicing your BMW. Thank you in advance for your support. I insert the nozzle tip about 2 centimeters inside and spray for 2 seconds, then pause for 5 seconds. Again, spray for 2 seconds, pause for 5 seconds, and repeat this cycle until the entire can is used up. If your car is heavily contaminated, it's better to take slightly longer breaks instead of rushing. Keep in mind that at this moment, the engine is under serious strain, having to deal with a large amount of greasy buildup that was never meant to be there. Always listen carefully for any unusual noises coming from inside the engine. It's normal for the RPM to drop slightly and become uneven during application, but loud metallic knocking is something you don't want to hear. If that happens, it's best to stop and consult a mechanic before continuing with the cleaner. In my case, the system is responding very well, and there are no black smoke clouds behind the car. If your engine is heavily clogged with carbon deposits, it's possible you'll see some black smoke coming out of the exhaust. Remember, the goal here is to improve the condition of your car, not to damage it. If at any point during the application you feel that something isn't right, stop spraying immediately. Don't force yourself to use up the entire bottle. Once the can is fully used, I reattach the air duct to its place and screw the engine cover back on. Now we'll move on to step 2. Where you'll learn absolutely everything about engine flushing. something that cannot be skipped here, because performing this procedure right before an oil change will save you a lot of money on repairs to the turbocharger, lubrication system, cooling system, and the engine itself. Problems that can simply be avoided by using proper preventive measures. I'll show you how to take care of your car without spending unnecessary money, with minimal time investment, in the best possible way so that it can run without any issues, because reliability is exactly the goal we want to achieve. Take 6 minutes to watch this material, see the before and after cleaning effect, and decide if you want to join the group of people who prefer prevention over repair. Let's get to work. The first very important piece of information. What exactly is an engine flush? It's an extremely simple procedure that involves pouring a ready-made store-bought product into the oil filler cap just before changing the oil itself. It only takes about 15 minutes of engine running for the product to circulate through the entire system, causing metal shavings and all accumulated deposits to loosen and drain out with the old oil during the oil change. This procedure significantly extends the life of your engine, improves lubrication, and allows both the engine and the turbocharger to operate under much lower stress and dissipate heat more effectively. I will show you the entire procedure from start to finish. At the very beginning, it is important that the entire flushing and oil change process be carried out on a warm engine. That's why I get inside and heat up the whole system to full operating temperature, around 90 degrees Celsius. On a cold engine, it won't be possible to drain all the oil because due to the higher viscosity at low temperature, a large portion will remain inside, which makes the oil change ineffective. Once the engine is warmed up, I pour the entire can of the product into the oil reservoir and leave the car running at idle for 15 minutes so the additive can circulate through the system and perform its cleaning action. After this time, I turn off the engine and immediately move on to the oil change. I start by unscrewing the oil filler cap to ensure air circulation. Then I get under the car and remove the 3 bolts securing the cover that protects the oil pan. Right underneath it is the oil drain plug, which I loosen using a 17mm socket wrench. In the meantime, prepare an oil pan or a bucket, preferably a large one, because in this engine, after flushing, we will drain at least 7 liters of oil. Important note: at this moment, the oil is definitely hot, so be careful not to burn yourself. It's better to let the plug fall into the container and fish it out later than to try catching it immediately and risk spilling hot, dirty, used oil on yourself. I leave the bucket under the drain for a few more minutes and move to the top to unscrew the oil filter, which is located on the right side of the engine. For this, you'll need a 32mm socket wrench. Once unscrewed, I pull the filter out onto a tray and set it aside for cleaning and replacement. Removing the filter allows the remaining oil, previously trapped in some of the channels, to drain out. So if you ever hear someone say that the filter doesn't need to be replaced every time, don't listen to them, because that's nonsense. It's an expense of under $10 that makes a huge difference in the final result. While we're on the topic, when buying a filter, always choose a kit that includes a new filter seal and a new drain plug washer. There's no point in reusing the old ones. I slide the old filter out of the plastic housing and do the same with the old gasket, which resists a bit and doesn't want to come off easily. Once everything is out, I clean the housing to flush away any remaining dirt that might have collected inside. I use a degreasing spray or brake cleaner. The agent dries quickly on its own, but to be safe, I wipe everything with a paper towel, making sure no bits are left inside. I also dry and clean the drain plug bolt. As I mentioned earlier, it's a complete set of 3 parts, the filter and 2 seals, and that's everything we need. I carefully place the rubber gasket at the very end into the groove that's slightly deeper. Then I prepare the bolt with the copper washer, which we'll screw back in shortly. Finally, I slide the clean, fresh filter into its place, making sure the opening is identical on both sides. This way, the entire set is ready for installation under the hood of our car. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment, and I'll record more episodes about servicing your BMW. Thank you. I go underneath the car, clean the drain plug area thoroughly until it's dry, and screw the bolt back in, always remembering to install the washer, usually a copper one in this case. I tighten everything with a 17mm socket and a torque wrench, applying 25 nanometers of force, since that's the specification given in the car's documentation. Back on top, I apply a small amount of fresh engine oil onto the rubber gasket of the filter. This helps ensure a perfect seal. Before screwing it in, I also wipe the filter mounting area, specifically the threads, completely dry with a paper towel. There's always some dirt left there that can make removal or installation harder, so it's the perfect time to get rid of it. Next, I screw the filter together with the housing back into place as far as I can by hand, then use a 32mm socket and a torque wrench set to 25 Newton meters. The next step is very important because getting the oil quantity wrong can have terrible consequences for the engine. And here it's going to be surprising. You'll need to pour in much more oil than during a standard oil change, and I'll explain why. According to the service manual, the capacity should be about 7 liters of oil. But after our flushing procedure, this amount can increase to even 8 liters. Because by adding the flushing agent that changes viscosity, we've pushed the oiling system practically down to zero. To avoid overfilling, I first pour in 6.5 liters, wait a moment for the oil to spread evenly, checking the dipstick repeatedly until the correct level is reached. If needed, I add another 100 milliliters until it's perfect. In the meantime, I check underneath the car to make sure the drain plug gasket we replaced earlier is sealed and completely dry. It's the perfect moment to verify that. Once the dipstick shows the correct level, I carefully close the oil filler cap, making sure not to spill anything onto the cover, and start the engine for about 20 seconds to activate the oil pump and circulate the fresh oil through the system. After that, I recheck the dipstick since it's common for the level to drop slightly. If needed, I add another 100 milliliters until it's perfect. In this way, we've done a huge favor for our car because now it can operate under the most optimal conditions. Additionally, to avoid forgetting about the next oil change, at the very end, I fill out an information tag and hang it in the proper place, so I don't have to remember at what mileage I should repeat the process. At this point, I encourage you to leave a like and a comment, because that allows me to keep making more episodes about repairing and servicing a BMW on your own. Thank you.